guys, in this video we're going to be experimenting with a new project idea I have. So if you don't know, I am a high school art teacher. So my school has been in person since August. Our district has done a lot of cool things to make sure that we feel safe and we are comfortable in the classroom. Besides having lower class numbers, our district invested in these shields or barriers. They're almost like trifold poster boards, but then the middle of each fold, the middle of it is cut out like a picture frame, and then there's clear acetate in the middle, which is just like clear plastic. But after winter break, all of our kids got brand new shields. When they did that, they told us, I don't know if they recycled them, I don't know if they threw them away, they told us they were getting rid of the old barriers. So the art teacher and me saw all of that acetate, the clear plastic, and was like, that's expensive stuff, we can make really cool projects with that. Bring me all of the barriers. I think I ended up with like 100 barriers still. It took me so long to tear apart all of the barriers. So I took the poster board part off and I just kept the acetate. So I recycled the poster board parts and I just kept the clear plastic. And I cut them into sheets of 10 by 10, whatever. And then I ended up with enough that every student could have 5 sheets of acetate. And so I'm going to do my project today because I've never done it before. Before I make 50 kids do it, I'm going to try it first. So my thought is we always do foreground, middle ground, background paintings, and we do them on 3 different papers. And then we cut them out and put them together with like little spacers between them, and it makes like a 3D landscape. And they actually are really cool. So I thought, since I had all of this acetate that I was able to get for free and recycle, I'm going to give every kid 5 pieces, and they're all going to be the same size, and they will just stack them, and they will paint different layers of their picture on each layer so that when they're all stacked up, they will be one giant picture. I think it's going to turn out really cool. I am still kind of experimenting with different ideas and thoughts and ways to go about doing this. So I thought I would make a video and bring you guys along on how it turns out. If it's hot garbage, oh well, it's hot garbage. And if it's awesome, then great. So let's get experimenting. Okay, step 1, what I'm thinking is we always do our first project based off a photograph. So find a photo, and then I'm going to print it, and then I will be back. Okay, so I have my photo printed out to size. This is printed to scale, and then the next step, I drew out what each of my layers were. So I just made quick sketches. I'm not super concerned with like how these sketches look. It just helps my brain keep the 5 layers apart. So next step, I'm going to lay my acetate over my photo. This project, we're more worried about painting than drawing. So I'm gonna lay my acetate right on top. I'll draw him on the first layer, and then the second layer, I'll move on 3rd layer, 4th layer, 5th layer until I have all aspects of my drawing traced on each 5 layers. After you're done tracing all of your layers, then stack them up and make sure they line up correctly. And then we are ready to paint. I'm just gonna go like layer by layer. So I'm gonna start with the first layer, and I'm only gonna paint, so my first layer is just my dog. So I'm just gonna paint the dog on this layer. I'm not gonna paint anything else. I'm gonna leave everything else clear. I'm just gonna paint this. Same thing for my second layer. I'm just using regular acrylic paint, and it did take 2 coats of paint just because the background is see-through, but it dried really quickly on top of the acetate. Okay, so here are all 5 of my layers finished and painted, and now I am going to start the process of assembling it. So here's how I'm going to do it. I took foam board and I just cut them into little tiny chunks, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start from the back and move to the front. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to work with my 5th and 4th layer. So I'm gonna flip my 4th layer over, and what I'm planning on doing is gluing I think 2 layers high because that's how thick I want it. I'm gonna glue them with hot glue on the back of this so that you can't see it because it's being covered by the paint. And then I will flip it over and glue it to this, and then I'll move so on and so on. When I get to the front, I'm just going to use the foam where the paint is covering, so I'm not going to put it anywhere else. And I'm going to let the foam hold up my painted elements, and then I'll worry about like the edges with my frame. After gluing all of my layers together, I then started experimenting with how I wanted to finish off the artwork. I landed on cutting 2 frames out of mat board, red to match our jackets, and then I glued them straight onto the acetate. I then took strips of mat board and created sides to my picture frames, almost creating like a shadow box. I'm sure there are a lot of different ways I could have done this, but this is what I landed on, and I think it turned out really cool. This was actually pretty hard to get a good video of the final product. The acetate is glossy, so it does give off a glare when there's too much light shining on it. I think in these videos it looks a little more hazy than it does in person, but I really like that it can stand up on its own because it's in a box, and I also really like that you can tell there's depth in the painting, which is really cool, and I think it turned out really great. I'm excited to try it with my students.